You know who this bros with mics.
Hey,
What up? What up? What up? What up?
you
That was a
heard it,
bad song.
man. Bros with mics. What up, big dog? I'm Tom.
I'm Cody. Quick
Man,
brief, quick brief. Crazy
man,
wild weekend, brother.
it really
Crazy
was,
weekend.
bro. There was some upsets in there. I'm
Yeah.
upset.
Yes, it was
I'm
definitely. But
saying,
before we
bro.
get into it, I have a quick question for the viewers out there, and y'all give your opinion. This is not my original question, but it did. I seen it on TikTok, and I was like, let me chime in. So this is the argument: Can a men's high school basketball team beat a the women's NBA basketball team? Can
So
they?
can a men's like the state champion, whoever the national champion for men's, like the number one ranked men's high school basketball team, beat
Beat.
the WNBA champion? I
Yes.
say yes. I say yes 100% only because I saw the match. I think it was the Australian women's national team played the youth 15 national team, and they got scrubbed. It was easy. It's the height. I bet if we look it up, the height difference, the size difference, the physicality of the two, it's way different.
Way
We see
different.
future NBA players on that team as opposed
So
to the women.
so the tallest player for the NBA champs was 6'4". Um there's only one
So,
player under that for the high school men's team. He's six
yeah, so
one. The rest
their
6'8".
senior. I mean, their center for the women's is only 6'4".
Yes, and
They wouldn't even get a board, bro.
they wouldn't. So
Put back
you
central.
it's 6'1", 6'8", 6'10", 6'10", 6'11", I believe, or something like that for the men's basketball team. The high school
Mhm.
at that, which are freak
So the
athletes,
young
bro.
man, yeah, the
Yeah,
young
the
man,
young
yeah.
man. Coming out of high school, that's crazy. But no, I definitely get an edge to the basketball team. The height, the size, like especially in basketball, things like that matter. Not always, but I had to give it to the men's basketball team.
You
You
got
know,
to. I mean, you
yeah.
got to. I think the physicality is just different than women's sports. They're not dunking. They're not doing putbacks. These guys are much more physical at that size, a lot bigger than the women. So they're bodying them out. It's just the game style of the play is just two totally different. It's just the speed, everything about it. So yes, 100%. I think I could be wrong. See what y'all feel about it, but I think
Could be wrong.
the men's definitely the young men high school would beat the WNBA champion 100%. But
Yes. Yes.
man, you ready to get into it? I think I
Yes.
wouldn't say this is an upset per se, because we kind of figured it would go this way, especially with, like you said, USC having no offense out there. And we knew, I think in the last one,
No
we said this was going
defense.
to be a shootout. Yeah, no defense. We said this is going to be a shootout, right? It definitely was. They almost put up 100 points of offense in the game.
I mean,
That's piss
94
poor.
points is crazy. Alex Grinch is out.
Yeah,
As of today, which I kind of seen that coming. You know,
yeah,
the media kept asking Lincoln Riley, like, "What do you think about the defense giving up these points? This, that, and the third." I mean, they've been giving up at least 41 points for the last 5 weeks,
yeah.
right? That's crazy.
Like
That's
y'all
crazy.
aren't stopping anything. It is a wide open door. If you look at it for Washington, 52, Cal, 49. The lowest really against an opponent was Utah. They only had 34, right?
Which is
So
still a lot.
that's still a lot. They're not stopping Jack. They haven't stopped anybody since Stanford in week 3. That's last time they stopped somebody. Stanford had 10, Nevada had 14, and San Jose State University had 28. Like you guys, they have no defense. We're gonna try to outscore as many people as we can, and hope that gets the job done. And as we can see, where the contenders and the pretenders, it's that time of year, and they were pretenders, right? You're out of the top 25 for the first time under Lincoln Riley, and it's only been like 2 years or so. But out of the top 25, and you're at USC, you are a storied program. Out of the top 25, true blue blood.
I mean, if you
Sheesh.
think about it, USC had a rough period, with the allegations, the
Yeah,
scandals, and all that stuff. Not being bowl eligible for a long
yeah,
time. They've had a rough go. Lincoln Riley came in and did pretty decent his first year, and I still think he'll do good. But it's just that defense. Once if he had
yeah.
a defense, bro,
They would
them
be
boys
deadly.
would
You
be
can score if you can
nice.
score 40, 50 points in every single game and you got some defense. We see what happened. We see what happens. We see what happened when you don't have defense with them and with Tennessee last year. When you didn't have a defense, the offense has to score that many more points, but you got to get some stops at some point in time, and they just can't. These guys that you're playing with got great offensive also. They're the best in the
Mhm.
Pac-12. Your Utahs, your Washingtons, your Oregons, UCLAs. These guys can score as much as you can. So it's a matter of whose defense is going to be just a little bit better because really these guys ain't got nothing either. If USC is putting up 42, 50, 34, like
Which
these dudes are putting up just as many points.
I will say, besides the Notre Dame game, like USC's defense hadn't really been stopped. You know what I mean? Like Utah last year, just going back to last year, even Utah,
I
got the
mean, the
2 dubs
offense
on
had
them.
been stopped, yeah.
Or the offense, excuse me, the offense hadn't been stopped. Caleb Williams thing, like he had one play that was like a head scratcher. It was crazy. Not a head scratcher in a bad way, just like how do you even make that work? You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, the whole Pac-12 doesn't have defense as a whole. It's not a defensive minded thing. Utah, I mean, but
Oregon
hey,
has a
look
good
at
defense.
Oregon still like. Let's go to Utah. So speaking on Utah right here, we'll look at some of Utah's past games, right? When I say Utah and it's good, Utah is the same. They're still the Pac-12. But out of the entire Pac-12, they do arguably have the best defense, right?
I mean,
But if you look
they're
at the
top
teams
10
against them, I
for
mean,
scoring
you're right.
defense.
7, 14, 32. Oregon, they only put up 6 against Oregon. Oregon put up 35. Arizona State, 3. So I guess we'll see now with Washington, because they got the tougher games out of the way with the USC and the Oregon, which were L's. But we'll see what Washington has to offer this weekend against them. I still don't think they're an elite team. Their defense is good for the Pac-12, but you're still ranked like 6th in the Pac-12. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
great.
Utah, like we said at the beginning of the season, like Utah or the Pac-12 is a gauntlet. Like it's
Yeah.
really good. It's the best conference still, I think now. But you look at they're ranked 10th in scoring defense. They're only allowing. I mean, they're only allowing 15 points per game. So okay, you have Oregon come in and do their thing. Oregon's a good offense. Bo Nick's been there for 10 years. They should be a good offense.
he been
I mean,
he been in the league for a long time, brother.
you know what I'm
You've been playing
saying?
football for a long time, man.
So I mean, I don't really take anything. They're not a great team per se. It may be different with Cam Rising, but I don't know. Enough of Utah.
Yeah,
Like
enough of Utah, enough of the Pac-12. I mean, I don't think there's any other crazy games that happened in the Pac-12 per se that we need to go into depth with at this recap. I mean, the people who were supposed to win over there were able to get the wins this weekend, right? The people who we thought would win, they won, right? You're supposed to win. If you're the high-ranking Washington is supposed to beat USC. It's not like it was something worthwhile. Oregon was supposed to beat California. That's why they beat them 63-19. Oregon is arguably the best team in the Pac-12. Though they lost to Washington in the close one, I still think Oregon's the better team. And I think that'll still play out so when we see them the Pac-12 championship. I think Oregon goes up against Washington again. I think they get the dub this time, arguably. So, but yeah, recapping it. Oregon dusted track meet against California. Cal, 63-19. I mean, it's what it was expected. So there's really not much to go into it. But the next game right here,
just
that
going over
threw me for a loop.
a lot of key games this week. A lot of key games.
What's up with Notre Dame, man? I still, even though I say they are pretenders every year out, it usually takes them a little bit longer for them to start losing some of these games, right? They're usually not losing this early, this bad. 3 losses at this point in the season for Notre Dame is kind of wild in the grand scheme. When they usually are strategic and planning since they're not in any conference, they can pick and choose who they want to play throughout the year.
This is
And
the
y'all
thing
just picked
about
wrong.
This is the thing about Notre Dame is Notre Dame is a good team, but Clemson's also a good team. People like to write off. Like I get they're 5-4 or whatever they are. But if you think about it, Clemson's defense is still solid. The
Yeah.
offense kind of struggles a little bit, but Clemson's still a solid team.
Yeah.
So Sam Hartman now is 0-5 against Clemson. Has never beaten Clemson. Will never beat Clemson. This was his last chance.
Last year, yeah.
So
It was the last chance, brother.
yeah. So at this point, it's just like honestly, what it was this game for me was Notre Dame's defense was giving up plays left and right, and their offense could not score. I mean, honestly, if Notre Dame would have, and this is the second time, bro. And I'm done. I'm done. This is the second time I'd have put some money on Notre Dame, and these fools that cost me, bro. I'd have hit
Mine's Florida, bro. And I told you, I said I do not bet for Florida because anytime I bet for Florida to win, they choke.
You got to have rules for this, bro. You got to have rules.
I say that. I said I'm not betting for Florida. I said, you know what? Florida got this in the bag. There's no way they let a 2-win Arkansas come to Gainesville and get a W. There's no way. No way. And sure enough, bro, they came out playing with a chip. I'm talking about strip to the crib, ripped out, strip six, all kind. They came out playing tough, and Florida's kicker, you got one job, and he missed the kick. The coach looked at him like, bro, you got one job. You just shanked that kick. Come on, man. You got one job, brother, and they couldn't get it done.
And you know, like back to Notre Dame and Clemson. Clemson is they're weird, bro. It's a weird season, and I say it because Clemson shows up. When they show up, I think they'll be undefeated. I do, bro. Look at that overtime against Florida State. Would have gave Florida State their first loss. If they was just playing consistent, they probably would just have that one loss against Florida State because Florida State is a good team.
Hey, Duke it's 28-7.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If they show up, like they're not showing up consistently.
I think they just got They wouldn't matter showing that. They got manhandled. They showed up or not, they got manhandled that one.
I mean, if they show up, they beat Duke. I do believe that. Just like if Oklahoma shows up, they beat Kansas. It's teams like that I'm like, okay, you should have won. You got the talent to win, but you just didn't show up. And I feel like Clemson hadn't showed up a lot of their games. I don't think they're a bad football team. I don't think
they're victim of circumstance. You got a young team, and he's not a victim of circumstance. He's a victim of his own doing. This team is going this way because that's what he wanted. He didn't want to bring in transfers to kind of fill those gaps. He elected to go with, hey, I'm going to use a younger cast of guys, right? And I want to grow with these dudes, which is good. Having some of these freshmen, these young cats in there, and you have a 7-win season, that's pretty good. Like starting off when you're in a rebuilding phase right now. And that's not bad, and we can see what happens with a team get a 7-win season. Tennessee, 2021, 7-win season, turn around, got an 11-win season, 22, and now on track to get a 10-win season. So rebuilding does happen, especially we got a talented coach like Dabo. Though we did say Dabo dead at the beginning of the season when he lost to Duke, turn around and lose to Florida, and then you turn around and lose these other games like Miami close in the 8-point game. NC State, same thing in a 24-17. So a close game. You gotta learn at some point in time. You have to play the complete game. You gotta put it together when it matters most, and they were able to do it against Notre Dame. Right, that was a game that you had to win. You needed to win that to make sure you are a potential for bowl eligibility. Because I think if they lose that game, so they'd be 4-5 right now. Then they go Georgia Tech, who is known to play tough, right, and then UNC and then South Carolina. There's a chance that Clemson could have finished not even bowl eligible had they not won this game. There's a chance at it. So they stepped up at home. You got to defend home turf at the end of the day. And they were able to get it done against Notre Dame, who I felt is a very wishy-washy team, as we see now with that, with them getting that L this weekend and probably going to be knocked out of the top 25, arguably. I'd go ahead and put them out of that. Finishing 7-3 right now. So, I mean, it's just one of those where you never know with some of these guys. And Notre Dame only has 2 games left for the season, which is why do people put their bye week at the end? That's the stupidest thing to me for some reason, but people like doing it. So your season is coming to an end real fast. They got 2 games left, and then it's over with.
Well, so moving on to UGA, I thought this was an interesting game. I think Missouri kind of handled this game for the most part. I think Missouri was kind of in control of this game. You know, UGA wins 30-21. The third quarter killed Missouri. Penalties. Out of
they
position.
Would shoot themselves in the foot, bro.
Yeah, out of position a lot that I seen from the defense for Mizzou. And Georgia's running backs were just able to run. One thing that intrigues me that everybody talks about the Georgia defense, this it's not the past couple years defense, but it's still a good defense, and I agree with that. But Mizzou runs for over 100 yards on Georgia.
151 on that defense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm just saying, bro.
This game was very even. I will say defense made the difference in this game for them at the end of the day. Being able to convert some of those, because you look at the offense for both, 212 for Georgia. 212 for Missouri, 254 for Georgia passing, 251 for rushing, 231 for rushing. It was a very even game, right? A couple fumbles at key times, and I think they might have got a defensive takeaway.
Georgia did, yeah. They had two.
A defensive score.
They got 2 bigs. Oh, I don't know.
I can't remember if they scored or not, but that's what really made. Yeah, they had 2 interceptions right there. 2 interceptions, and that's what made the game for them. That really did make the game for them at the end of the day. So you guys not being able to actually score, and Georgia play defense as Georgia needed to. When they got to the red zone on there, holding them to 3 points both those times in the second and in the third quarter, that's the difference of the game right there, right? It's a 9-point game you have. You get, instead of 3, you get 7, both of those, 14 instead of 6 points. That's the difference in the game right there. That's a win, lose, or draw type of deal. And they weren't able to win it at that point in time. Georgia got it done. That's what makes a champion, though. A champion, or especially back-to-back champions, time that matters most, you guys can step up and make a couple plays. That's all it took. 2 really big plays right there made the difference in this game. Holding them to field goals both of those times. That's what was the difference in this game. It wasn't a blowout left or right. It was 2 key stops made the difference in this game.
And I want to give a shout out to Theo Weeks Jr., former Oklahoma Sooner. He did his thing. 90 yards on the ground, 5 receptions. Not like some big chunk plays. I only seen him make 1 catch because they play the same time as Oklahoma. But I think Mizzou could have won this game, But like you said, it's all about who's more disciplined at the end of the day. So shout out to Georgia. Ole Miss next.
Ole Miss, man. Ole Miss, hey, they played tough. They did. They played a complete game against a talented A&M team, and that's what they had to do to win this one. I didn't think they looked dominant by any means. They hung on tight after A&M attempted to kick and miss. That's another. You had one job, bro. You got one job to kick and tie it, bro. Come on, man. Especially clutch moments like that, you hate to see it. Florida got bit by the clutch monster right there with their kick. A&M got bit by the clutch monster again with their kick. You can't miss those. At that point in time, you can't. And you see now what happens.
I mean, I'd hate to be a kicker, honestly. Ole Miss was in control this game, but kind of let off the gas a little bit, let Texas A&M get back into it. But, I mean, they got Georgia next, see what they're all about. One loss, Ole Miss going against undefeated Georgia, that'd be a good game, I think.
That's a game Georgia has to have. If Georgia wants to win out, Georgia needs a Tennessee loss this weekend and a win against Ole Miss. They have to have that. Georgia loses against Ole Miss, we win, that puts us in a position for the East. So Georgia has to have either a Tennessee loss. I mean, it's crazy. Georgia's edging if they're going to make it to the SEC East on us. You need us to lose? That's cute. So Georgia needs us to lose and an Ole Miss win. But if we win and they win out, then they automatically get to have more wins in the conference. We couldn't get it. But Ole Miss is in a position to do that. Ole Miss can score in bunches.
Yeah,
so
they can.
That's the difference between them and Ole Miss. Ole Miss has a better offense than Missouri does.
Yes.
So
yeah. Missouri's offense ain't bad though. But
yeah, they're not bad by any means. But Judkins can run that thing, and Dart is a talented quarterback.
Yeah,
I'll give him that. 38 to 35 over TAMU, which we saw that's you should have won. You're 10th ranked team. There's no way you should be losing to an unranked A&M at this point in time. And they didn't. They got it done at Vaught Hemingway Stadium this weekend, and it looked good all around. I'll give them that. Couldn't get it done against Alabama, getting it done against A&M. They're still in a position to win the West, right? Had let Alabama lose a couple games right here coming up. They got a little tough stretch. It's not going to be super easy for Alabama, but there's a chance Ole Miss can still win the West. Had Alabama turn around and lose to either UK or Auburn, maybe it could happen. They're at UK and they're at Auburn. Auburn likes to try to play tough against the tough people, right? So they're going to bring their best ball, and maybe UK can make something shake against Alabama. Don't think so. I think Alabama's going in the West, but you never know. Any given Saturday.
A game I thought was definitely intriguing this weekend is Kansas State almost knocked out the Big 12 from the playoff contention.
The Big 12 domino house was about to crumble this weekend.
Yes, so, I mean, overtime, I get you got a backup quarterback. Quinn Ewers ain't in. But Texas defense gave up some points. Texas was up like 20-something points at one point, 17 points.
Yeah, and when I looked, it was like 7-27 or something. I was like, whoa, this game is over. I turned back over. These dudes are balling. I'm like, yo, hold on. What the hell is going on over here?
Yeah,
and they came back.
Almost ruined the Big 12 party for Texas. But, hey, I think Texas is still a good team. I think Texas can fall, though, clearly. I mean, KSU almost did it. Kansas State's not a bad team either. They put up points. They put up points, and they are spoilers for the Big 12. That's what Kansas State is. They are spoilers in their most recent years.
Yeah,
they're spoilers for the Big 12.
Were they the Big 12 champion?
I don't know.
Last year? I think Kansas State won the Big 12 last year. if I'm not mistaken, my boy. So they had a solid squad with Deuce Vaughn running that thing last year. Deuce is out there like a madman. I'm pretty sure Kansas State won the Big 12 last year, if I'm not mistaken, right there. And they were poised to try to make something happen in this game. They just the last play, instead of going to tie it up for the kick, which could have happened, they went for the win. That's what greed gets you right there. You played a great game, a solid game. Don't be greedy, especially when your quarterback's falling back, throws a pick. Shoot yourself in the foot right there, man. Kick the field goal, get it back, and try to win it that way. Don't try to be greedy and go up for the overtime win right there. And it's a different ball game. You played hard. You were able to stop them in the fourth. You were rolling in overtime. You should have went with that, but they didn't. They chose to try to win it all and couldn't make anything happen. Everybody's locked up. Texas into pressures. Texas should have right there. But now this argument now pops up: was the Alabama win just kind of chance? Were they really that good as we think they are?
I still think Texas is good. I just think I think LSU should still beat Bama. Like I said, I
Yeah.
mean I can't go in and say, oh, Jane Daniels gonna get hurt. I think that was pretty much the deciding factor. But Bama played a great game, and Jalen Monroe played the game of his life. He played the best game of his
he was
career.
balling.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one to take consider. But and also to take in consideration that he did play a great game, so he plays better under the big times. I guess you could say. I don't know. Texas was slightly different, but I still think Texas is a good team. I still think they probably they definitely will go to the championship. I'm assuming they don't really got anybody else on their schedule. I think Oklahoma State and Texas might meet up in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah,
but,
they just have a good stretch right here with TCU, Iowa State, Iowa State, and TCU.
And Iowa State ain't a bad team. Texas Tech ain't a bad team. But I mean, I think it might be Texas and Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship. If I had to say now, Oklahoma State
There's a
has
chance, unless Oklahoma State just drops the ball and Kansas drops the ball. That's a possibility. UCF is a tough team. They're going to play as tough as they can. Houston ain't a bad team. Just kind of overlook right there. Right, I'm not great, but they're not teams you can just overlook. So UCF is going to bring it to them. OSU this weekend, so they gotta make something shake. And then Kansas, same thing. Both 72. All three of you guys are 72, but they won the conference split right there with Kansas. But for this next one, man, now that we're already on Oklahoma State's the conversation of Oklahoma State, we have to bring up the elephant in the room. The potentially last bedlam for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I have, if y'all are still here, I do have a video on that already, but just briefly, I will say that the last bedlam is crazy to think about. You know what I'm saying? So but hats off to Oklahoma State. Rushing the field, they deserved it. I mean, it's the last bedlam. I don't see why you wouldn't rush the field.
It's a huge rivalry game. It's not that it was that big. This is a huge rivalry game.
Yeah. So, but no, I think some things just didn't go Oklahoma's way. I think Oklahoma still could have won that game. They was in position just like the Kansas game to win it. Just didn't execute how they should have. But it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, them holding you guys to that field goal instead of a touchdown right there, 30-yard field goal. That's the difference maker right there. Being able to sit you guys out and force the field goal and not letting you get it back. That's the difference maker. But like you said, it was a good game. I'd rather see a good game than a blowout all day, and especially when a game like this, the playoff implications that were on the line, they're going to play you guys stuff because guess what? They know they're not going to the playoffs, so you got to ruin somebody else's day at this point in time, and that's all they were looking to is to ruin somebody else's day. And you guys were just in the way of that. And it made it happen. Made some shake, not to go too far in depth with it. It was one of those. But another one that we didn't go too far in depth with, and I was excited to see, was them Volunteers, them balls, y'all. They did exactly what they should have this game. They didn't let UConn get a single touchdown, and you shouldn't have, right? Like UTSA, the other games, you got to blow them out 59-3. And the only thing I really want to harp on is Nico got some playtime. Nico got some playtime, and we see how Nico looks. We see the future Tennessee looks good. Even with Gaston Moore when he came in, because I wanted him to come in. I was like, make sure he gets some playtime. They look good. Nico came in and took off. And that's the difference between Nico and Milton. You've seen the gears go through his head. He stepped up in the pocket, seen it's open, take off. There was no need to sit back there. Okay, hey, am I going to throw it? Am I going to do? That's how you get hurt. He saw the opening, took off. He fell one time, kind of scared me a little bit, like kind of stumbled down. So, oh shoot, did Nico just get hurt? And his passing was good. His 5 for 9. Some of those passes the guys dropped because you're not used to the velocity of the different quarterbacks. You could tell when the guy went to do it, it was a little bit slower. So he kind of put his hand back. Oh dang, that was slower than I thought it was going to be. And you can see the reactions different from different quarterbacks, but got a passing touchdown in that game. That's the first for Nico time on Knoxville. And look at it's Iam Maliava. Nico Iam Maliava. Not Lama Labea, like I always say, but Iam Maliava. Nico Iam Maliava. We're going to hear that name a whole lot more over the next few years on Rocky Top, and he looked good. Gaston Moore looked good too, 4 for 7, 36 yards. He didn't get a lot of play time. He only had a few minutes out there. But I enjoyed this game. It went the way it should have, which is a very weird out-of-conference game like UConn. Like, who thought scheduling UConn was a good idea? Like, we need a win, but could we be a little bit more competitive with it? Like, just a little bit to make it more fun. But it is what it is. It's a sellout crowd. It is homecoming, and we wore the sky blue for Pat Summit appreciation. So love to see it. RP Pat, 59-3. Rocky Top rolled in a very easy one, and going to be prepared to see Missouri this coming up weekend right here. Now this is a big game for us. We got to get this dub. Georgia, we got to get that dub. We are favored to win the Missouri game, but you never know. Like, it's any given day. So Tennessee wins that one. They roll pretty good. Not to harp on it too much.
Yeah. No.
Another one that we the next that I guess you got what you wanted. You kind of spoke this to existence, so I'm blaming you. Air Force fell. We said they have a chance. It would be a cold day in hell before Air Force saw a championship or made it to the CFP, and we spoke it into existence. And Army just thrashed them, 23-3. They couldn't do anything with the ball. They got manhandled out there, and now they're put back in their place, which is out of the top 25. It was sad. Like bro, y'all they weren't even competitive. They weren't even competitive, man. Only 100 yards passing. They had to bring the backup in because the quarterback just went. He came in through 2 interceptions. All right, we got to bring somebody else in, bro. You're 9 for 22. They were just getting robbed. But the thing is, Army didn't look much better, bro. Army only had 40 yards passing. They were just running that thing with 200 and some odd yards. No, they were just running it on them every time, and they control the game, control the hell out of this game.
Army's always been like that. They don't pass the ball at all.
Yeah, and I expected that though. They got the ball. Time of possession was 32 minutes to 27, so they kept the ball a lot of the game, and that's what happens when you can run it. Army had a lot of penalties, which I thought it could have swayed the game some with 11 penalties for 119 yards, but Air Force they couldn't do anything with it, man. It was sad. More yards total, but just couldn't get points out of it. It was a pretty boring game for the most part. But that's what you expect when these teams play. So, hey, Army, Air Force, you had a great run. And now we can forget about you again.
It is what it is, like I said. But that's all the games I think I got today.
Yeah, nothing too much crazy. The last one I want to harp on was Penn State. We thought that it might have been a closer game against Maryland right there. I thought Maryland was going to be a little more competitive. I kind of peeked in on that game a few times. But Penn State was they were looking good. It started off 14-0, went up 21 right there, and Maryland finally got a touchdown. And in the fourth quarter, they just opened the floodgates on them, bro. They couldn't do anything to stop them. It was embarrassing, to be honest with you. Lil Tua did not look good. 2 tutties with an interception. He had a decent amount of yards just because Penn State can't play, which I will say now that opened some doors. With Maryland being able to pass on them like that, how are they going to do against their other the actual rivalries? So this Michigan game, where a team who can score in bunches. We saw how they looked against Ohio State. Michigan can put up yards. Mm-hmm. Now, I think Maryland helped expose that. You can put up yards. You might not get a touchdown. You can put up yards. And if your team's better, which Michigan's a heck of a lot better than Maryland, I think they're going to put up some yards, man. And I don't think Penn State wins this game at all. So 11-11, make a wish. Michigan bust Penn State head this coming weekend.
I mean,
they probably already got the plays, to be honest with you.
I mean, we'll definitely cover that in the next video, but I think it'll be a competitive game. I mean, Michigan, Penn State's always a competitive game, you know what I'm saying? So, but not to get too much into it.
It's the whiteout, so they're gonna come play hard. It's the whiteout.
Exactly.
But no, that's
Exactly.
about it. The only other team that lost was the UCLA, lost to unranked Arizona, who was a solid team. Unranked lost. Colorado loses again. Does Colorado even reach bowl eligibility this year?
No. You
Nah.
already asked me that.
Yeah, nah. They don't. I don't see them winning another game, to be honest with you. I think, but that's better than one loss. 4 losses is better than one, right? They played a good game. They only lost by 7 to Oregon State, so it wasn't a blowout by any means. But still,
Hey,
it's you hate to see it.
you hate to see it. But
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's still a lot to kind of go into all that. They still have more wins than they did last year.
Yeah, exactly. 4 is better
So
than 1.
exactly. So it's you pick your poison, I guess. Because I mean, he's still a first year coach, so
Yeah.
it's not too much to be said on it. I mean, I still think he's going to bring more success to the program. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
of course. I hate that they're already losing a few commits here and there due to it, but that's the nature of the beast. If you're not winning, kids want to go to a winning program. They want to go where they can get the publicity, but he gives them good publicity. But winning is winning at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, but man, if you made it this long, thanks for watching. We got a few folks out there, like I said, who like to comment on there's a weak podcast, but you watch the videos. You still giving me views at the end of the day, man. So I'm grateful for every view we get. Every time somebody clicks in, if you watched it for 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, guess what? Thank you for it. You clicked on our on the page. You took the time out of your day to come watch us. And I'm grateful for that. So we'll see you on the next one, man, when we really get into depth with some of these predictions, because we thought this weekend has some implications for the future. What about this coming week? So we'll get into depth with those. Week 11 is going to be absolutely wild for some of these guys who is a must-win time. For a lot of people, it is a must-win time. So if you stuck around for this long, thank you again, bros. Mike, drop a comment on there and be prepared for that next video because we're going to get into it. And I want to hear y'all's opinion on who you think is going to win it. The women's WNBA or the high school basketball champions. Who can get the dub right there? Lord knows. But on our live, when we're going live, Monday or Tuesday this week? Let's go live Tuesday. So we really get into depth when we get out there because then that gives us time for the CFP to come out. Or we'll do one of the two. We'll let you guys know. We'll be calm in about that live. Be ready for it to get that out there. So
might do a live stream for the CFP reaction.
we could do that. Just a little brief when we get it on there to see as they're popping up. Just get a little something for those who ain't gonna be able to make it. But if you're watching us, you should be able to watch it too. But either way, I'll take your views either way. But again, I'm Tom. We are bros with mics, my boy.
Cody.
And we are
And
out
that
to
was
stay.
the podcast. Thank y'all again for coming.